ग्लोबल डाइवर्सिटी इक्विटी एंड इंक्लूसिव समिट 5.0 का आयोजन दिल्ली में धूमधाम से किया जा रहा है। ये 3 दिवसीय आयोजन आस्क इनसाइड और अन्य स्पॉन्सर्स द्वारा आयोजित किया गया। इस आयोजन में मुख्य अतिथि पूर्व मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त सुनील अरोड़ा रहे। समिट में 150 से ज्यादा वक्ताओं द्वारा विभिन्न विषयों पर अपनी राय रखी गई। वक्ताओं ने मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज के सीईओ के अलावा जेएनयू के वाइस चांसलर, आईआईटी के डायरेक्टर्स, दुनिया के जाने माने बेस्ट सेलर ऑथर्स, थॉट लीडर एक्सपर्ट्स शामिल हैं। साथ ही 3 दिवसीय आयोजन में मास्टर क्लासेस, राउंड टेबल, पैनल, की नोट्स और वर्कशॉप्स के द्वारा ऑन द स्पॉट कोलैबोरेशन साइन किए गए। डॉक्टर नीरू कुमार ने इस 5वें शिखर सम्मेलन के बारे में बताया कि अगर सभी लोग आपसी सहयोग से एक साथ नहीं जुड़ेंगे तो इससे किसी को कोई फायदा नहीं होगा। वहीं पूर्व सीईसी सुनील अरोड़ा ने इलेक्शन कमीशन के आखिरी प्रकाशन लीप ऑफ फेथ के बारे में बताया। अरोड़ा ने इस वार्ता में आर.के. लक्ष्मण द्वारा पर डॉक्टर धर्मेंद्र द्वारा किए गए 3 संकलन और आर.के. लक्ष्मण द्वारा किए गए कॉमन मैन के विश्लेषण की जानकारी भी दी। समिट के आखिरी दिन 18 मई को अवार्ड्स वितरण समारोह रखा जाएगा।
By now it's not by accident or it's not even deliberate. It just happens. You must do something for the common man. Common man this, common man that, in the context of various schemes of the government or even private sector. So I was just thinking one day, and I was reminded that when we were students, the only common man, so to say, we knew was R.K. Lakshman's common man. And by the way, friends, this common man is very uncommon. He or she can give you the most pleasant surprises, and he or she can give the most nasty shocks. You see the outcome of results of various states at various times. Starting, let's say, from 2014, a political entity wins in India the parliamentary elections. 3 months later, there is election in Delhi Assembly. And the same common man, it's not that people living in Pritampura have now shifted to some other place. They give you an uncommon shock, nasty shock by the results. Just as they have done recently in Punjab, for example. I remember very distinctly that before the elections to the Assembly of Delhi, I was not CEC at that time, not even EC. We were having a lunch in ISC, some of the colleagues, and 2 colleagues, both from Punjab cadre, were laying bets on how many seats a certain entity will win. And everybody was saying that this entity will sweep Delhi or whatever, and they were saying, no, no. Such and such alliance has been worked out, this, that. Luckily, both of them, senior civil servants of the rank of secretary, one serving, one retired, having done various courses in London, Oxford, they were both completely wrong. So these were the train of thoughts which impelled me to reach out to Mr. Jain. I must say and acknowledge from here the contribution of Times of India, the Bernard Coleman, He did not, in any case, he is a man who takes very quick decisions. That decision was taken between 3 minutes conversation, and their legal team and our legal team, they got together, and for a token sum, we got common man. Please give Mr. the Times of India a big hand. And if you see the last publication of Election Commission, which is Leap of Faith, the main title is Common Man. In various modes and shapes. There was a time when one was in touch with Mr. late Lakshman Saab's son, who was a senior journalist of his own times in Mumbai. And number of times a friend of mine, now based in Mumbai, Dr. Dharmendra Bhandari, he has written 3 compilations on R.K. Lakshman Saab. And Dharmendra Bhandari was very close to 2 people, Mr. R.K. Lakshman and Nani Palkiwala. I asked him one day that what do you think happens to him? He says every day he just locks his cabin for almost 2 hours, if not more. And when he comes out, there is a different manifestation of common man. I'd also like to say something about the Kumar family on this platform. I did not know Dr. Neeru Kumar. Of course, later on we discovered that we were very distantly related also, which we still are and will remain. Just as the Indian families have a way of getting related, so and so is this to this, like that. But I was amazed after meeting her. And we requested her to become one of our national icons. National icon is a concept of the commission whereby somebody whose achievements are extraordinary and publicly known but not too much known, we choose him or her, request him or her to be one of our icons so that other people learn from that life. Actually, those of you who have come just now, you should sometimes see Dr. Neeru and Dr. Prem Kumar coming into a conference room. 99.9%, most of you can't make up that it is 2 persons. Dr. Kumar gives her so much assistance effortlessly. And the entire family is now kind of working on same principles. So I would like to, from this forum, with your permission, give a big hand to the family. Last but not the least, before starting any formal address, this is one venue, the Lalit, where one has been there several times as a guest, paid guest, not free guest. And also, over a period of time, one started knowing Lalji himself. I remember we had a very long discussion. He was kind enough to offer lunch in his boardroom. The audience was he himself, the host, myself, and Rajat Sharma, who was a well-known TV personality. The subject, incidentally, was what the PSUs in general and what the Indian Airlines of those days we could do further for what we call, the definition has been undergoing a change, differently enabled, finally now disabled citizens, and do some hand-holding without kind of without sounding it condescending. And over discussion, he agreed that at least Lalit Hotel will do its bit. I am not aware whether they are still doing it. And there was so much empathy in his voice that he told us what all he is trying to do. He means they are trying to do and what all they plan. And this address, I don't know what she intended, but I suppose this is broadly can be divided into two parts. Disability as such, as it prevails in our country in terms of numbers and all that. And what all can be done by weaving these threads together to maximize and optimize the output of a disabled person as an individual as well as a class. When you visit Tata Motors in Pune, Tata Motors in Pune, the first complex they made was skilling. They said that for us, and it was skilling for any person, X, Y, Z, not necessarily disabled. That for us, skilling is the base of manufacturing. And their HR people, at least the person who took me when I was Secretary Skills, first Secretary Skills of Government of India, he spent good half an hour to 40 minutes and in a very, very empathetic and scholarly way explaining the entire ethos of the corporation through one company on skilling, upskilling and reskilling. Pardon me if I am wrong somewhere. I have been told that at one time Lemon Tree and Tata always were doing so much work in this direction that they deserve all the praise from other fellow citizens. Just now I was asking the honorable colleague on the dais who would be, in Amritsar there is a very strange, very kind of awe-inspiring institute. And it is called, in old Punjabi you can say, Pingalwada. There is one by Moon Singh Ji, Puran Singh Ji, who spent his lifetime on that. Who and his wife, they spent their lifetimes on that. Last time when I went to Amritsar, Hargobindpur, those areas, I wanted to see some Gurdwaras again. So I was able to speak to the principal on phone. I didn't have too much time on that particular day to visit them. And they were kind of talking, she was talking as if this is normal for her and her colleagues all their lives. In Ahmedabad, if you see, there is an institute headed by Dr. Bhushan Punani. I am Ahmedabad, and after that continues to do something or the other, full of dynamo of, still a dynamo of energy. And who are the people who work there or who want to work there? Wives of some very senior retired industrialists, or maybe 2 or 3 of them are no more in the world. Lal Bhai group and all. They don't come there to do any Rotary-like charity. They are there every single day, at least 3 hours in the forenoon or 3-4 hours in the afternoon, and they direct all their resources for skilling. I may use this word more than once, but I have no choice, because this is the base, the so-called Mool Mantra of this entire effort. Skilling, upskilling and reskilling. And they are extraordinarily well informed. If you go and sit with them, beyond the usual social cup of tea, which everywhere you are offered, they are so full of information that many of you who are very young and occupying very sensitive places in your corporations, the reason for your presence here. For example, this gentleman has gone, she has come up. I was asking, I'm sorry for my own ignorance of this particular statistic. I think if we require something like 1 million people in the country of this vintage to cover our education for the audio impaired vertical, we hardly have 10 to 15,000. I asked the smart gentleman who came with me inside, and if you can do me a favor, just check this figure. I know he will not come back till I leave. Because the figures are so difficult to get by. And there is hardly any plan of action which really kind of giving a concrete roadmap of any one of these issues. Any one of these issues. How many, for example, artificial foot we required, still, despite the efforts of Mahavir Viklang Samiti, Jaipur, and other institutes. Do we have a concrete figure? Do any of us have a concrete figure of how much is being done by the government, one or two corporations, at least one corporation in Delhi, which probably rests a lot. Up to them to decide why they rest so much. And similarly, on the area of, as I already